Okay, YouTube, welcome back, guys. This is Jimdel-Edu. I'm back for another tutorial, and at this time, this is what we are going to build. This is a new series. I'm going to build this with you guys, okay? And I think one of you asked me to create an updated version of it. I think I got this on YouTube, and I don't remember if I did finish it or not. But someone asked me to okay, create an updated version. This is an updated version. Okay, this is code. Create. CRUD stands for create, read, okay, update and delete item or product or file item inside of your database, images and so on. But if you got a good idea, a good understanding of how you create this, and it's easy to create your own blog website, okay? Okay, let me show you how this works, guys. Let me show you how this works. This is the introduction. Let me do this introduction for you. Okay, and here you got, as you can see here, I have index.php, and here I have read product, and this button is create product, and this is the search bar. This is the search box, and to search for item, and this is the product name. This is the product, and this is the title right here at the okay. I have product, I have price, I have description, I have category and action. We can read, edit, and delete. Also, you can create here. Okay. Now you say edit or update, the same thing. Okay, and as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, and each page I have 5 items. Each page I set it to get 5 items. Okay. Also, is a this is page 1, and is page 2. We have 2 items, and this is the last page, which is on page 2. Okay, and let me show you how this works. I've added us here. If I click here on read, is the, as you can see, it's the sneakers right here, and name, price, description, category, and this is the image. Let's go back, and here I have Apple Watch. If I click here, okay, and this is the price, and name, description, and so on. Okay, same for the camera too, the same thing. But here for the price, if you put 150, for example, you create a product, you add 150.99, it will round it to 151. Okay, and here I have this, okay, clip out, and okay, this camera. Here I have this fan, and on page 2, okay, no, page 2, no image here, and no image here. That's fine. Okay, and let me create one product for you. Okay, this is a create product, and you can see here I have create product.php. And the first thing, I'm going to pick my picture. Choose my picture first. Let me pick this bag. This is a yellow. Okay. Now name, I'm going to put a handbag. Price, I'm going to put a 15. I'm going to show you something. 15. I put $15.99. You will round it to $16, and I'm going to say yellow bags. Okay. Okay, yellow bag. Just keep it simple. Now, for category, I'm going to pick one. It's not electronic, entertainment, fashion, home decor, and motorsport. I'm going to pick home decor. I'm going to pick fashion. That's fine. And click on create. and you see there is the message. Product was created, and now let me read the product. That's yellow bag. Okay, I have it right here, and click on read. Okay, this is it right here. And now remember what I told you before, because I put 15.99, you convert it, you round it to $16. Okay, let me try to create another one. Pick my picture first. Now I got PS6 name. I'm going to put a PS6 price. I'll put 650 89. I put 650 89, and this is the name P. Okay, PS6. Put something like this. Put blue PS6. That's fine. Category electronic, and click on create. Now here's what it says. It says image already exists. Try to change file name, update the record to upload photo. Okay, and let me go here, then look for PS6 inside of my search bar and click on search. I have it right here. Now remember I put 650. I put on 650.89, it rounded to 651. Okay, category electronic and description, click on read, and this is right here. How cool is that? Okay guys, let's go. Now this is what we are going to create. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, I want you to open your code editor. I have my open, but before I get started, let me show you something. I'm going to show you how I organize my folder, my files. Here I have this for you, okay? And this is my main folder. I call my main folder CRUD-PHP. You can call it anything you want, but I call my code PHP, my main folder. Is all these are folders. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folders plus another one. That's 6 folders in total. And my first folder inside of my main folder called config folder, my second folder called images folder, my third folder called labs, library lab folder, and I got another folder called uploads, and I got object folder. Also I have CSS folder. This is how I pass my folders. I showed you. You can get an idea. And all these are files. Okay, inside of the folder. See, I put them. But inside of the labs, I create another folder called CSS. And inside of the CSS folder, I have a file called custom.css. But for config folder, I have 2 files. One database.php and another one called core.php. And here, image for image folder, we'll leave it like this. And for inside of the lab folder, remember we create another folder called CSS folder, and inside of the CSS folder I create a file called custom.css. And inside of the object folder I create 2 files, one called category.php and another one called product.php. Also, and inside of my main folder, this is my main folder code. I got code-php. This is my main folder name right here. Okay, and inside of it, and that's why I pass. If you follow this line here, I got all these for you, and I got these are the single files individually inside of my main folder here. Inside of my main folder, I got this folder right here, and inside of config I have 2 files. Inside of lab I have a CSS folder, and inside of our CSS folder I have custom.css files, and inside of the object folder I have category files and I have product files. But inside of my code, inside of my main folder, I have all these files individually. I have index, layout header, read template, create product, layout folder, delete product, update product, paging, read one.php, and search.php. Okay, this is a two part. Now, first thing I'm going to do, this is a part one. This is the tutorial part one. I'm going to create all of this folder. Okay, I'm going to create all of this folder, and I'm going to create a database core, custom, category, index, layout, header, read, most of them. Okay. Without further ado, let's go back to our code editor. Let's get started. Our first folder will be config folder, and inside of config folder, I'm going to create these two files. Okay, go back and go to your code editor. This is my code editor open, and I want you to create your main folder called code-php, code-php or code-php. Okay, is my main folder. And inside of my main folder, do a right click, okay, right click, click on new folder, call it config, like this, config, just simple, because it is a folder, called config, and click on enter. And if you expand this, you will see we have, inside of my main folder, I have another folder called config folder right here. Let me show you. Okay, I have config folder. But okay, let me finish with all of my folder. Okay, no, let me do it this way so that you can see what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing. Let me do it this way. And now my second folder, I'm going to create another folder called images folder. Okay. And right click on your main folder, click on new folder, call it images, like this, and click enter. Now here's my second folder. Now my third folder called labs, now right here. Okay, let's create it. Click on main folder, click on new folder, call it labs, like this, LIBS, okay, and click on enter. It's another folder. Okay, let's go. Now I want another folder inside of the lab folder. I create another folder called CSS folder. Let's create that. Okay, now click on lab folder, right click on lab folder, click on new folder, and call it CSS. Click enter. Okay, if you expand lab, you will see CSS folder inside of it. Next folder called uploads folder. Let's create it. Click on main folder, right click on new folder, call it uploads, okay, like this, and click enter. If you expand, okay, now you see it. Now my next folder is object folder. Let's create it. Click on main folder, click on new folder, and call it objects, like this, and click enter. Now here I have all of my folder listed here. Now next, this is what I'm going to do. Next, let's work with config folder. Inside of my config folder, I have two files. The first file is database.php, and another file called core.php. As you can see, you can follow the line, the arrow, you can follow them, you can see. Okay, my first file I'm going to work with is database. Here I copy this and go back. Now I want you to click on config folder and make a right click on config folder, click on new file, and paste it or write database.php, click enter. Okay, click enter. Now let's go. Now the first thing I'm going to do, leave it like this, database.php, leave it like this. Now I want you to go here, and now let's create our database. Go inside of the PHP management. Let's create our database. Okay, I want you to go to your PHP management and let's create our database. Now, for our database, let's create our database. For our database, call it. Okay, I'm going to call my database. Or call it CRUD like this _ PHP. And remember our main folder called CRUD dash or hyphen PHP like this, and our database called CRUD _ PHP. And now this is our database. Let me make this bigger so that you can see is our database right here, and click on create. Okay. Now I'm going to create two tables. One table, our first table is products, and our second table will be categories. Let's create our first table. Our first table name categories. No, it's a products. Like this is our first table name, products, and number of column. How many column we need? We need the 8 column. Number of column should be 8. Put 8 right here. Products 8, and click on go. Now we have 8 fields. We have 8 fields here. 8 fields. So the first thing we need ID, integer, length 11, and here auto increment. Okay. Auto increment, if you put your cursor on it, you see auto increment, or primary key, you click here and you find, as you can see now we have primary key. And okay, second field, we need name voucher, length to length 32, and we need description. We need description. Description should be text. Leave it like this. No length. We need price, integer, length 11. Also, we need category ID like this. _ ID. Category ID integer, length 11. Also, we need created for date. Created. Date time, looking for date time. Here date time, okay. Also we need modified, and modified should be timestamp. I'm looking for time. This is a timestamp right here. Also, last but not least, we need an image right here. Image should be text. I'm looking for text. Is white text after on the after voucher. Okay, we have ID name, description, price, category ID, created, modify, and image. If you got everything right, okay, if you got everything right, now go here and click on save right here. Okay, now if you click on browse, okay, now here's our first table name. Our first table name products. Now let's create our second table. Our second table is categories. Now if I click on my database here, and now you will see create table right here. You will see create table, and click here. This is my name. This is the name of my second table, categories. Like this is okay. Categories. We need a 4. Number of columns should be 4, and then we have 4. We're gonna keep it. And click on go right here. We click here. Now we have 4 fields. Okay, the first thing we need ID, integer, length 11, and then here auto increment. Click here, and you see primary key right here, primary key, and here we need the name. Name should be voucher right here, and length. Let's put 255 for length on categories, and we need a created for date. Created is supposed to be date time. I'm looking for date time. Here is date time. Okay, no length. Also here we need modified. modified should be timestamp. I'm looking for here's timestamp after the time. Click here, no length. Now, okay, if you got everything right, I want you to go here and click on save. Okay, now we created our first table. We have our first table and our second table. Okay, now next thing, let's go back. We don't need this. Okay, let's go back to our code. Okay, now remember we have a database.php file. I'm going to add some code inside of our database.php, our first file. Let me show you here 1 second. Now we have database. I'm working with database.php, and then after core.php. Now let's work with database.php. The first thing we need a PHP. Okay, like this. Is PHP, and inside of my PHP, I'm going to use class. Oops, no. I'm going to use a class called database. Okay, is my class database, and go inside of it. And the first thing I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to pass my database credential. Here's my database credential. Okay, and I'm going to use a private, we say private host equal localhost, and I'm going to say private DB name, Okay, my database name, remember our database name is, let's go back, our database name is code. This is a code right here. This is a code underscore PHP. Let's go back. I'm going to put it underscore PHP. Okay, and private username, root, private, and then the password. Leave it blank. And also I need a private connection, con. I'm going to use con. Okay. Now what I'm going to do next, this is where I'm going to pull up my connection, get my connection. To do this, I'm going to use I'm going to say connection, or database connection, and I'm going to use a public function get connection, like this. Okay, and here I'm going to use a $sign this connection equal null right here. And next I'm going to use a try catch block, and to connect everything, to check for my connection if there is any errors. Okay, and I'm going to say try, and for catch I'm going to say PDO, like this, PDO exception, and here I'm going to say exception right here. Okay, but inside of my try block is my try block right here, and inside of it I'm going to say $sign this connection con equal new, okay, PDO double quote my SQL host equal, and I want to go after the closing. Let me make this bigger so that you can see. This make it bigger for you, okay? And after the closing double quote, put a space that, and put a dollar sign. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to grab everything here, and after host, I'm going to say this this host dollar sign first. This host space that space double quote, and put a semicolon here. Put DB name like this, equal, and go here after the closing here. Put a space that space like this, and put this. Now let me take a DB name, okay, DB underscore name like this, and put a comma space, this username, comma, let me make this smaller, okay, and after username, comma, put a space, and dollar sign this. After that, put password, okay, and we need this semicolon here. I'm going to put make this a little bit smaller again, and move this over here, okay. Now I'm going to work with the catch block. Here's my catch block. From here is my catch block. Now go inside of it like this, and this is where I'm going to equal. I'm going to say equal like this, PDO exception. Oh no, we already got it. This is where I'm going to pass my my message in case we got any error message. I'm going to say equal double quote connection error, okay, and is my message. Put a space that space exception get message like this, okay, put semicolon, and here after the closing is the opening catch, is the closing, okay, curly braces. Go after that, and I'm going to say return this my connection like this, okay, and let's bring this up, closing, okay, up, okay. This database.php is done. Go to file, remember that, go to file and save up. Now we're done with database.php. Now let's go with work with core, create a file called core.php inside of the config folder. Okay, now I want you to go to your config folder. I'm going to move this for you. I'll leave it like this, so that's fine. Go to your config folder. Here's my config folder. Right click and click on new file. Paste it, or you can write it down. Core.php. Click enter. Now here we have a core.php. Let's add some code inside core.php. And the first thing we need PHP. Okay, and go inside here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the number of record per page. Remember I told you before, for each page I need 5 records on each page. So to do this, the first thing I need a page, $page equal is set, and I'm going to use the get method, bracket single quote, and put page, and go here after the closing parenthesis, put a space, put a question mark. I'm going to use the same get method, bracket single quote, and put page again. Put space colon space 1 semicolon. Now this is where I'm going to set it, and This is what I'm going to say. Records per page. Okay. Now I'm going to say $ record like this, underscore per underscore page equal 5. Each page I need 5 record, 5 items. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to calculate for my query limit clause. Okay, I'm going to say limit clause. Okay, and this is where I'm going to say from record number from record number equal record per page. Okay, record per page time each page. $sign time page, and go here and time page minus record per page like this, and then this is done. Core.php is done, not too long. And go to file, save all. I can make it bigger so that you can see. This is all we add instead of the core.php. Okay, from record number equal record per page time each page minus record per page. Okay, now go to file, save all. Okay, now we're done with database.php, also core.php. Now next, remember we have a folder image, leave it like this. We have lab, which is a folder, and then now let's go inside of the, I'm going to create, let's add some CSS. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, let's go back to our browser, and let me put localhost and put my folder name called code PHP. As you can see, we have all our folder, but we have nothing yet. But leave it like this. Leave it like this. Let's go back to our code. Okay. Now, let's create inside of our folder called, we have a folder called labs. Inside of the labs folder, we have another folder called CSS. And inside of the CSS folder, we have a file called custom.css. Let's add some code. Let's create the file called custom.css inside of the is the CSS folder. Right click on new file, call it custom.css, click enter. Okay. Now inside of the custom.css, what I'm going to add, I'm going to say that left, I need a left margin. Okay, left margin. Yes, a left margin. I need a margin of 0 space and 0.5 m, 0 and 0. Okay, this part is done. Next, I'm going to say that right button margin 0, 0 and 1 m, 0. Also, in case there is overflow, I'm going to say overflow hidden. Oops. Okay. Also, I know I'm going to use the bootstrap. Later, I'm going to pass it. I'm going to say model body. I need a padding of 20 pixel, 20 pixel, 0 pixel, and 20 pixel. And I'm going to use an important right here. Also, I want my text align center, and apply I need the important after that too. Okay. And then for the module footer, I'm going to say that, yeah, module footer here. Okay. And text align center as well. Okay, use important after that. Okay, now go to file, save. Okay guys, now the next thing, let's go back here. I'm going to create, before I create a category.php, and I'm going to create a layout. I'm going to create layout header first. Okay, let's create a layout header first. Let's go back to our code, and remember layout header.php. I'm going to copy this. Layout header.php is inside of the main folder, not inside of this folder, inside of my main folder. If you follow this line, you will see layout header.php is inside of my main folder. Okay, let now right click on my main folder and click on new file. I'm going to paste it, or you can write it down, layout underscore header.php, and I want you to click, and what I want you to do, I want you to click on enter. Okay, now the first thing, I'm going to use the HTML code. I'm going to say HTML. Okay, and the method, I'm going to use my next method. At this time, I'm going to say viewport. Okay, for content, content width equal device width, and put a comma space, initial scale equal 1. Okay. Now, next I go to the next line. I need another method again. At this time, I'm not going to use the name, but okay. I'm going to say HTTP equiv like this. Okay. Equal double quote x UA x hyphen UA like this, hyphen, put compatible. Okay, and for content, IE equal edge. I want this to work on all browsers. That's why I created this line of code. Okay, that's why I created this line of code. I want my program to run on all browsers. Okay, now, and for title, let me show you something. For title, I'm going to use page title, but to pass my page title instead of my title, I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pass my PHP first inside of it and say equal $sign page title underscore title like this. Okay, and bring this closer. Okay, this part is done. This is a HTML. I'm going to use, I need the latest compile and minify Bootstrap CSS. Okay, and this is where I'm going to get it. If you go to this website and you go here, let me show you. You go here, Bootstrap latest compile and minify CSS, right here, or Bootstrap CDN, and click on the first link. When you click here, let me show you. You click on the first link, and you click here. You copy this. This is the first link right here, version 3.3.7. Let me show you. I can increase this for you. This is this one. copy. Okay, and let's go back to our code, and this is where I'm going to paste it. Okay, this is it right here. But remember this one is not is open, and I have to close it right here. Okay, I close it. Okay, and now I need my custom CSS as well. I need my custom CSS. I'm going to create my custom CSS. I'm going to create my custom CSS. I'm going to say custom CSS. Okay, to create my custom CSS, I'm going to use link and move this. Remember, let me extend this so that you can see. Inside of here's my custom CSS. I got my lab. Let me show you 1 second here. I have lab folder, and I have CSS folder, and I have custom.css file. Okay, let's go back to our code. This is where I'm going to put href equal double quote and paste it custom.css. But before that, remember, we have first folder called labs. Before I get access to my custom.css, I should call lab folder first, and then I'm going to call CSS folder second, and before I get access to custom.css. Let me show you how to do it. Let me cut this. Okay, the first thing you do, I put my labs folder, and I'm going to put I put a forward slash, and I put forward slash to call my second folder called CSS. I put another forward slash, and this is where I'm going to call the file that I want, which is a custom.css. Okay. Now, this is the header. This is the body. Now, inside of the body, I'm going to pass. Okay, I can leave it like this, or pass a color if you want, guys. I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, inside of my body, I'm going to create my container. Okay, I'm going to create my container. To create my container, I need a div class called container. Okay, div class called container, and inside of my container, I'm going to create another div called my page title. Okay, I'm going to call my page title, and I need to pass in my PHP first. And here, yes, okay, let me bring this down and go inside of my PHP. Okay, this is where I'm going to show the page header. Okay, to show my page header, I'm going to say equal double quote, and I'm going to pass a div inside of it. Okay, I want you to follow me, guys. Is the div, opening div, and is the closing div. Okay, is the opening div, the closing div, and bring this down like this. Okay, now, and instead of my first div, I'm going to pass a class. Oops, no, go to edit, undo. I'm going to say class equal double quote. No, use single quote instead. Class equal single quote. I'm going to call page header like this. Okay, and go inside of this div. Go here, pass my first header h1. Okay, is opening h1, and is the closing h1. Okay, and don't forget, I want you to put a semicolon here. Put a semicolon here, and inside of my header, from the middle here, let me show you. Let me open it. I'm going to call my page title. To call my page title, I'm going to use curly braces like this, and say $page title. And let me put this back. Okay, this is how you do it. Now, next thing, I'm going to show you something. Okay, leave these three closing tag here, HTML tag, body tag, and this div for container tag. I'm going to show you something later. Okay, now go to File, Save All. Okay, now we're done with layout header. Now let's create something, and when we refresh, when we refresh our browser, you will see the result, our first output. Let me go here. Okay, let me go here. Let's create category.php inside of the object folder. Remember, we have category.php file inside of the object folder. Let's go back, and here our category object folder is object folder. Right click on object folder and click on new file. Call it category.php. Click enter. Inside of the category.php, category is inside of the, remember, category is inside of the object folder. Now, what I want you to do, let's add some code inside of the category.php. And to the first thing I need a PHP. I'm going to say PHP, and I'm going to create a class called, no, I can't use it, but I need a class called capital C category, like this. Okay, this is my class name category, and now this is where I'm going to use my database connection and my table. Okay, I'm going to use two things, database connection and table. I can write it down for you. Database connection and table name. Okay, now I'm going to say private $sign con private table name underscore name equal double quote. Now this is where I'm going to put, remember we have two tables, one table name products and the other table name categories. This is where I'm going to put here categories, like this. Okay, now here, this is where I'm going to put my object properties. Okay, and I'm going to use public ID. This is where I'm defining public name. Okay, next I need I'm going to use a public function for construct to call my database. I'm going to say public function. Remember, I want you to pay close attention here. Pay close attention here, guys. I said public function. Is my cursor here? Public function space underscore twice 1 2, okay, and put construct like this, and put $sign db as a function. I'm going to put a curly braces, okay, and this connection equal idb, like this. Okay, and here this is the end, this is the closing for category function class, and bring this down, okay, and go here. Now this is where I'm going to select. Here I'm going to select my drop down list. To do this, I'm going to use a function called read. Okay, function called read, and I'm going to say my query equal query equal, and I have to select my ID, comma, name, from, and go after the closing here space, that space, and this, okay, table name, this table name, like this, space, okay, follow me, space, dot, double quote, and put order by name, like this, and put a semicolon here at the end. Now I'm going to use my statement equal this connection prepared my query, okay. Now I have to execute my statement. I'm going to say statement execute, like this, and now I have to return. I'm not going to exit, I'm going to say return statement, okay. Now next thing, this is where I'm going to read my name, read the name. To do this, I'm going to select name from table name, and I'm going to use a function to do that. Function read name, capital N, read name, okay, read name, and use my query. I'm going to say query equal double quote. I want you to select name from and go after the closing double quote space, that space, this table name, okay, space, that space, and put a double quote here where my ID equal question mark, because I don't know the name yet, question mark, and after question mark with a space, limit, I have to limit it from 0 or 1. I'm going to say 0, comma 1. Okay. Now, next I'm going to use a statement to prepare my query. Statement equal this. Always call my connection to connection prepare my query, $sign query, okay, and my statement. Now I'm going to use something called by param. This by param, one or, and then I've said this ID, and then now I have to execute my statement. Okay, execute my statement. Next, this is I have to use the row to fetch. Okay, I have to use the row to fetch for something. Use row to fetch. Okay, and I have to call my name for call inside of the row. And let me show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use row that will be inside of my database. Okay, row for inside of my database. I say row equal statement to fetch, like this, PDO, and okay, first association like this, put a semicolon here. Now I'm going to say this name equal row, okay, bracket single quote, name. Okay, put a semicolon here and go here, refresh the page, or go to file, save all. Now let's go back to our browser, not this one. Let's go back to our browser and refresh the page. Okay, as you can see, nothing yet. Let's go back. Now I'm going to create my next file I'm going to create, let me show you, we're done with a category that let me see, I'm going to, okay, let's bring this up for category.php. okay, and now next file I'm going to create, before I create index.php, we finish with layout underscore header.php. Now I'm going to create read template.php, read underscore template.php. okay, inside of my main folder. Is right click on my main folder, click on new file and paste it, or write down read underscore template.php and click enter. Okay, now this is where we are going to read our item from this template. Okay, the first thing we need PHP. okay, and go inside of this PHP. This is the first thing I'm going to create here inside of the read template. Okay, I'm going to create my search form. I'm going to say search form, and to do this I'm going to say equal. I say equal double quote. I want you to pay close attention to this, guys. Equal double quote, and I create my form. Let me show you. Form is my opening form, and to create my closing form I have to create another equal. I say equal double quote, and is my closing form. I want you to follow that. Let me bring this like this and make it a little bit bigger for you. Okay, is my closing form. Now everything I'm going to pass my search form inside of these two equals. Okay, now go here, go to the next line, put it like this, and the first thing, let me pass something inside of my opening form. Go here, say space. I'm going to say wall equal, okay, single quote, put search, and after the closing single quote, put a space. I need action equal single quote. I want you to put search.php. We do not create file called search.php yet. Okay, but put it here, and I want you to put a semicolon here for me, and I also put a semicolon here for the closing, for the opening form and for the closing form as well. Okay, now go to the next line and go here. We need another equal like this, equal double quote. Now this is where I'm going to create the form. Okay, equal double quote now, and I'm going to pass a div like this. I want you to follow me, guys. This is the div, this is the opening div. I need another equal to close this div. I'm going to say equal double quote, and is the closing div. And don't forget to put a semicolon here and put a semicolon here. Okay, now go inside of the opening div, go inside of this div, after div, put a space, and I'm going to pass a class equal single quote, and I'm going to say class equal input group like this, space, call MD, okay, and then 3 space put pull left, like this, and space, margin right, that's for the button, margin right, and 1M, put it like this, okay? And I want you here, remember, one block of code, and then this opening form, closing form, and then one block of code, okay? And I want you to go inside, of these two equal, leave, go inside here, and I want you to put something, put a search value, come on, search value equal except search term, dollar sign, search term, like this, okay? And go here after the closing parenthesis, put a question mark, and put a double quote, put value equal, okay, value equal single quote, and put a curly braces, and put a dollar sign search term, like this. And here after the closing, here put a space, put colon space, put a double quote, leave it like this, and put a semicolon at the end. Okay, now this is done, and what I want to do, I want you to go to the next line, okay, go to the next line, and I'm going to create another equal. I'm going to create another equal. Now say equal and double quote. What I want after the created the search value, I'm going to create it for the input, where I'm going to put my placeholder inside of the search box, okay? And say equal double quote, and I'm going to say put it like this, okay? And go inside, say input type equal single quote text, input type text, and after the closing single quote here, put a space. We need a class equal single quote form class form control, okay? And after the closing single quote again, put a space. Now see, I'm going to pass my placeholder equal single quote, and I see I'm say type, I'm going to say type product name or description, this 1 2 3. And after that, let me make this smaller, okay? All right, after description, after this closing single quote, put a space, put name, okay? Let me go to the next line, let me bring this, okay? You click on enter, and then this brings you to the next line, and okay, put a name equal single quote, put S like this, and after the closing single quote, put after this closing single quote, put a space, and put ID equal single quote. I want you to put SRCH, stands for search term, hyphen term, like this, and go after this closing single quote, put a space again. Also should be required, like this, required space, curly braces, dollar sign search value, okay? And close it here, and put a semicolon at the end, okay? Now what I go to the next line and go here, what I want right now, I'm going to create another div for button. I'm going to say equal space, double quote, and I'm going to say div is my, here is my opening div, and I want to close this div. I'm going to use another equal for that. I'm going to say equal space, double quote, is the closing div. Okay, and go inside of these two div, this block, go inside here. Okay, inside of the two div, but go in, this is the first one, is the opening div. Go here, say div space class equal single quote, call it same thing, input group hyphen btn for the button, and put a semicolon here. Okay, and go, remember is that the opening div, closing, go inside here, from the middle here, and then I'm going to create, and then my button, I'm going to create my button. To create my button, I'm going to use equal again, space, double quote, and this is where I pass my button right here. This is my opening button, and put my closing next to it, like this. Is opening and is closing, and inside of the first one is my first, is opening button. Go here, space, I'm going to pass a class equal single quote btn, btn, like this, space btn, and hyphen primary, like this, and go after the closing single quote here, put a space. I need the type equal single quote, type submit, button type submit, like this, and I'm going to pass something. Remember I already add my inside of my layout header, I pass my latest compile and minify CSS. This is why I'm going to use I after the, here in front of the closing button here. Okay, I'm going to say I, opening I, closing I, and here inside of the first one is the opening. Go here, put a class equals single quote, call it graphicon. Okay, graphicon space, and put set on a graphicon again, hyphen, put search. Okay, and bring this, I'm going to make this smaller so that you can see. Okay, and don't forget to put a semicolon here. Okay, now, and this is it pretty much. This is inside of the grid template.php, and go bring this up, and bring this up. Okay, and go next after the closing form. Here is the closing form. Go after that, and this is where I'm going to now. I'm going to create product button. I'm going to create my product button, and to do this, I'm going to say equal double quote, and I need a div. Is here is my opening div. I need the closing div. I'm going to say equal again, space double quote, and here my closing div. And inside of the opening div, go here inside of it, create a class equal single quote, call it right for the button, right button margin, like this, and put a semicolon here. Okay, and go inside here. We need equal, and I'm going to pass an anchor tag a, like this, and put a okay equal double quote is my anchor tag, opening anchor tag. Okay, is my opening anchor tag. I need the closing anchor tag. I'm going to use another echo for that. Double quote is my closing anchor tag. Okay. And inside of the opening anchor tag, remember to put a semicolon at the end of each. Semicolon, 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 semicolon. Here, inside of the first one, anchor tag, here, space. I'm going to say href equal single quote, and I'm going to say create underscore product.php. We do not create this page yet. Okay, and after the closing single quote, put a space, create a class equal single quote btn, like this, space btn primary space. Now I'm going to push it to the right. That's why I say pull hyphen right, like this. Okay, and inside of these two echo, this is the anchor tag. Go inside. After here, click on enter. That brings you inside. Here, I'm going to use echo space double quote. This is where I'm going to put a plus sign in front of my button. Okay, and I'm going to say, I'm going to use a span like this. Is the opening span, and I'm going to put the closing next to it. Is the closing. Okay, and inside the opening one here, class equal single quote graphicon. Okay, space graphicon hyphen plus. This is how I put the plus sign, hyphen plus. Okay, and then here, follow me guys, here, after this closing double quote, put a space and put create. This is where I'm put attach the name, create product, like this, product, and put a, oh no, cut this line and paste it after the closing span right here, before the closing double quote. Here put create product and put a semicolon at the end here. Okay, this is it. This part is done. Read template.php is done. Go to file, save all, and for category again, go to file, save all. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this program. Go to your browser and refresh it. We have code. Okay. Is the name. We have code PHP. I don't think our database probably she has the same name. Let me go here. Clear reset history. Okay, and okay, maybe our database. I'm going to change the file name. Okay, and before okay, I'm not going to change the file name. Okay, we forgot to add the semicolon here on line 10 for me. Equal closing div, put semicolon at the end of each one of. Okay, semicolon right here. Okay, now remember, now I'm going to create no output yet. Leave it like this. Okay, leave it like this. Now let's create our, because there is no connection, guys. There is no connection. Let me show you here. We don't have index.php yet. We do not have index.php. Yes, index.php. Let's create index.php. And then you will see the output. Now, go to your main folder, right click and click on new file, create index.php and click enter. Now, I'm going to, inside of the index.php, this is where we have our connection. I'm going to include all of our folder called our database, called our category, and this is where I'm going to call include when we run the program, because we want our index.php. Okay, this is why we have to create it. We don't have any output yet. This is why. Okay, now let's create our index.php. We have index.php open. Let's add some code. The first thing, this is where I'm going to say I need the first thing we need a PHP, and inside of the PHP, this is where I'm going to include my database and object files. Okay, this is where I got my database, and I'm going to add my object files. Okay, and to do this, I'm going to say include once, like this, single quote, include once. The first thing, let me show you here. The first thing, as I say include once, because index, we cannot run index without call our database, because database.php, this is where we get our database name and our connection. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to say where we got our database inside of the config folder. I have to call my config folder first. I say config and /, and now I'm going to call my my file database. Okay, that PHP, and I want you to put click on put semicolon here. And let me show you something. If we go to file, okay, if we go to file, save all, and go here to our browser, refresh the page. Okay, now the page is blank. Now something is coming. Okay, now next, let's put include once, single quote. Now I'm going to call my object folder, because I need category.php. I'm going to say object with S, and call object folder, call my file called category, like this, that PHP, and put a semicolon. Let's go to file and show something. Go to file, save all, and go back to our browser, refresh it again. Okay, nothing yet, but let's keep going. Now we got I would say include once. No, let's stop here. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, now next thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to instantiate my database and product object. Okay, instantiate everything. This is where I'm going to instantiate my database, database and product object. Okay, to do this, I'm going to say database equal new database, like this. Okay, and put a semicolon here, and I'm going to say database db equal database get connection. Okay, I said database equal new database, db equal database get connection. Okay, now next, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to say my category data sign category equal the same thing I do for my database. Category equal new, capital C, new category, and call my DB like this. Okay. And now next, this is where I'm going to call my page title. This is why you did not see anything yet. I'm going to call my this is a page title. I'm going to say $sign page title equal double quote, and this is the title you will see. This is where I'm going to put a read product with S and put a semicolon. Also, but I have to include my once my layout header inside of my index.php. I want you to see everything, and double quote, and I'm going to include layout header that PHP, put semicolon. Also, I want to specify the page where the paging is used. To do this, I'm going to say page. I call my page. No, this is not my page URL. Page URL equal I put a double quote and include index.php inside of the index.php. Index.php. Also, I'm going to include read the template.php. Include once, okay, read underscore template.php, and put a semicolon here. And next, I'm going to include, because I have something to show you, I'm going to include once double quote layout footer that PHP. Okay, and this is okay. That's all we need for index.php. Go to file, save all. Now I'm going to run this program and you'll see the output. Okay, and let's go here, refresh the page. Okay, now you see we have an output. But we have some errors. We will fix it. Warning, variable host, database on line 15, undefined property database. Also, we have include, follow me, we have warning, include once layout that footer. Okay, failed to open stream on index line 22. Also, we have database.php on line 15. Let's go back and see. The first thing we have database line 15 on undefined variable host. Okay, database, go to database.php, line 15. Okay. Okay, we have error undefined host. Let me see. I said this con equal MySQL host, this host. Okay, before, let me fix this and you will see what I'm doing. Okay, now we have undefined property data, this capital D. I don't have capital D. Database. Let me go here. Okay, now, and before, let me fix this first. Now we have include once layout footer.php, failed to open stream, index on line 22. Go to your index, open index.php on line 22. Is line 22 here? Because we don't have an index layout footer.php. And let's create layout footer.php. Let's go. Right click, right click and copy. Now go to your main folder, right click on new file. I'm going to paste it, or write layout underscore footer.php. Click enter. Now we create it. Now next thing, what I'm going to show you, I want you to go to your layout header, open, remember that I told you before, open layout header.php. These three tags, okay, these three tags, these are the tag for the div class container, for this container, okay, here for this container, and then here for the body, here for the HTML. I want you to take these three tags, cut them right here, and then go to File, Save All, and then now go back to layout folder.php, paste them here, okay? Paste them here. These three tags, because inside of the layout header, I cannot leave them open. Now this, I have to close them inside of my layout folder. Okay, now go to layout folder and go to Save All. Let's go back to our browser, refresh the page. Okay, and so far so good, we got something. Okay, and now we got this error message that says undefined variable host. Okay, undefined property database. Here, line 15. Okay, let me go back to database.php here. Undefined host. Let me see. That host, this host, database.php got this host. Let me see. Okay, this function get connection. Get connection. Try this connection. Code new PDO MySQL host equal, okay, space that space this host. Okay, everything looks good. Username, password, catch block error, exception, get message. Our error message here, yeah, and line 15, undefined variable host. Okay, oh, we have $sign in front of host. We have $sign in front of host. We're not supposed to get $sign in front of host. Let's go back. And line 15 here, this is host. Yes, we have $sign, and I want you to cut this out here, and go to file, save all. Okay, and now let's go back to our browser and refresh it. Okay, there we go. Here's the output. Okay, now we have the search bar and we have create product button. Okay, all right. If you click here, you're gonna say please fill out. Okay, fill out this field. Okay, okay, guys, this is it. This is where I'm going to stop for part 1 for this series. Okay, this is part 1. This is where I stop. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop here. And thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to click on the OK to share this tutorial. And if you got any error message, please let me know in the comment box. I would be glad to assist you. All of my subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. See you in the next one for part 2. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.